Hi, my name is Lisa, and I am here to help you make a smooth transition from working the Great Leaps digital program when you're face-to-face with a student to working the program remotely. So on the teacher side, to log in, the first thing you need to do is, of course, log yourself in. Okay, we've opened Test Student 2 and we see the student code. You're going to instruct your student to hit log. You're going to get them to digital.greatleaps.com. If you have a parent handy, it might help to have them help you get their student there for the first few times. If not, I suggest investing in a $1 whiteboard. Index cards will do at a pinch, but they're not reusable, so I prefer a whiteboard and some dry erase markers. And I'll occasionally write digital.greatleaps.com for a new student. Just be patient with them. It's a long website for them. So once they're on digital.greatleaps.com, you're going to instruct them to hit the login button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure they hit student. Next thing they'll need is your username. So once the teacher username is in, you're going to instruct them to hit the student code spot or tap or click, whichever they're doing, and you're going to get the student code to them. You get it to them, you have several options. One, you can use a whiteboard. I used to do that. That was my preferred method in the beginning. Now I have a little bit of fun with it. It's a chance to work on phonemic awareness. Shh, don't tell them that. So I would tell my student, let's go ahead and type the student code starts with a 9 and then an 8. H as in hurricane. You know what a hurricane is. Those are storms. Those are those big storms that blow in. And then the number 3. Oh, I didn't type the H. H and the number 3, and then K as in kindness. I like that one. So I use it as an opportunity to give my students some vocabulary. Notice I just defined it because they didn't necessarily know what a hurricane was, so I mentioned it. I explained it as I was going. So if I had a more advanced student, I would say, okay, you give me a word with an H for this one. Or if you have a more advanced student that might just have a reading problem, but is a 2E student, for example, I would say, let me have an adverb with H, or a noun. So we can have fun with the student code. I'm going to go ahead and hit log in, but I want to discuss a couple. My student code wasn't correct. 98H, and this is what happens at their end, K. Log in, there we go. Now, sometimes it'll do that. I have the right student code. Occasionally, the program will glitch. So the first thing you're going to have, perfect example, the first thing you're going to have the student do is retype that student code. If that doesn't work, you're going to make sure the first thing you're going to check is you're going to ask them, are you in the student mode? That's your first thing you're going to check. The second thing, go through and give them the code a little bit slower, make sure they've gotten in all of those digits. And those two things should get you in. Oftentimes it helps to have them tell you when they get each thing in. 9, do you have that? Yes, there you go. Okay. So that is how you log in a student at a distance. They are set up to go. The next thing you're going to have to do after working the exercise and doing some modeling is get them back to that list. So that's that big blue button with an arrow on the bottom, because your kids might not be able to read back to exercise list. So if you tell them to hit the big blue button, the big button on the bottom with the arrow, there they go.
So that covers some tips on how to get connected and logged in with your student at a distance. Now, once you get started with your phonics exercise, you're going to need to double check that your screen is matching up with their screen. So to do that, you're going to simply ask your student how many columns across do they see. It could be anywhere from 2 to 4 lines across, depending on the device that they're using, the screen size, and how they're holding it, horizontally or vertically. So if they tell you I'm seeing 3 across, okay, I'm going to pull my screen in horizontally until it matches. Now if you're using a tablet as a tutor, remember that you can turn your device horizontally or vertically to match up with theirs. So the reason we do this is for modeling. Once you finish the exercise and you're picking a line out or 2 lines that you're going to model with the student, they need to be able to find it with you. So if your screens don't match up, it's going to be pretty difficult. A tip for modeling, now that your screens are matched up, we're going to want you to count from the top or from the bottom to the correct line that you're going to do with the student. Say we're going to do this line with the word ripe on it. I'm going to tell my student, can you go to the 1, 2, 3, 4th line here, starting with the word ripe? And then once they say yes and they see it, I'm going to begin reading ripe, lice, life, etc. Same from the bottom. Can you go to the 1, 2, 3, 4th line up from the bottom, starting with the word ride? Do you see that? Once they confirm, go ahead and continue modeling. Now you're going to want to double check when you get to the phrases section that they are still seeing the same number of rows across. If you match up on phonics, you should also match up on phrases, but it doesn't hurt to double check. Now, once you get to the story section in your modeling, it can be easier to tell the student to find the section you're looking for by telling them the paragraph in the sentence. So I'm going to say, can you go to the 2nd sentence of the 2nd paragraph, starting with my new ones? Do you see that? And then when they confirm, you can go ahead and read it from there. Your screen size on the stories should not matter because you've already aligned it. And because you're typically going to be telling them by the paragraph and the sentence as opposed to the line number. I hope these tips were helpful for you. Keep in mind, if you need more instructional help, we have additional videos on how to use Great Leaps Digital and some more tips on which devices and which platforms are best to use. So be sure to check those out. But as always, we are available. If you need us, give us a call.